Welcome back to What's the 411 News, where we bring you news observation, interpretation, and news commentary from an FBA and BGR perspective. Let's get it. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to What's the 411 News. And today we're going to talk about a Congresswoman by the name of Jasmine Crockett, who says that Black people should be exempt from paying taxes. All right, Black people, you got to look at the wording. We're going to go into a little bit more deeply. All right, when it comes to this particular report. All right, so yeah, let's get into it real quick and see what they're talking about here. All right, let's get into it real quick here. So we have Democratic Congresswoman who suggests that Black people be exempt from paying taxes as form of reparations. All right. So we've been here before when it comes to that kind of talk. When it comes to reparations, and notice the wording, they say Black people, so it leaves the opening for not only Black Americans, it kind of leaves that opening for other Black people who have no claim to the lineage here in the United States of America. See, got to be careful with the wording. So there's a Democratic Congresswoman is calling for Black Americans to be exempt from paying taxes as a form of reparations. All right. Though she admitted that the plan may not work because many poorer Black people aren't really paying taxes in the first place. All right. So right off the jump, we got the game playing already. Right. I'm going to read that one again. A Democratic Congresswoman is calling for Black Americans to be exempt from paying taxes as a form of reparations, as a form of. Though she admitted that the plan may not work because many poorer Black people aren't really paying taxes in the first place. Jasmine Crockett, a freshman representative from Texas, said she heard a celebrity, though she could not remember which celebrity it was, proposed making Black people tax exempt, and thought, I don't know that that's necessarily a bad idea. She recounted in an interview with the Black Lawyers podcast. All right. So she said she heard a celebrity and said that she couldn't remember which celebrity it was. Oh, I can't remember which celebrity, but you just heard this idea, right? So that even sounds like whoever the celebrity is, and I really, maybe she doesn't remember, but I really think that she really does know who this celebrity was, right? So one of the things they propose is Black folk not have to pay taxes for a certain amount of time because that puts money back in your pocket. Crockett told a host, or the host of this Black Lawyers podcast. So they should be not able to pay taxes for a certain amount of time because it puts money back in their pocket. Now, I don't know if she's a Black American or foundational Black American herself, or has some connection to Africa or any of the Caribbean islands, or maybe any of the Spanish countries. Don't know, right? but we're going to get into it a little bit further here. This is something to keep in mind, right? Something to keep in mind. So, but at the same time, it may not be as objectionable to some people as actually giving out dollars, she continued. Crockett then argued that reparations in some form are necessary, in some form. So she hasn't had a clue, or she actually knows what it is that foundational Black Americans really want, which is one of the things is lineage-based cash payments, right? On top of a plethora of other things. That's just not going to be it. Cash payments is high on the list. But we're talking about land, right? And a whole host of other things. A whole host of other things. The taxes can be involved in that as well, along with a whole host of other things, and not just for a certain period of time, but permanently tax-free. All right, Jasmine, permanently. All right, so she says, so many Black folk, not only do you owe for the labor that was stolen and killed and all the other things, but the fact is we end up being so far behind. She's saying we as if she's part of the Black Americans, right? It is as, excuse me, it is at that point that she suggests one of the biggest problems with the proposal is that some Black people already aren't paying taxes. So if she is a Black American, she's already trying to be funny with her wording and language, right? So if you do the no tax thing, just listen to the wording. If you do the no tax thing for people that are already, say, struggling and not paying taxes in the first place, she keeps on harping on they're not paying taxes anyway. Notice that. Notice how she keeps harping on that. I think this is like the third time that I've read that she keeps mentioning the not paying taxes. So again, if you do the no tax thing for people that are already, say, struggling and not paying taxes in the first place, she says, before Carter suggests they, quote, may want those checks like they got from COVID rather than a tax break, right? So this Carter person who's doing the interview kind of cut her off and said, well, they might want those checks, instead of like they had with the COVID checks rather than getting the tax break. Exactly, Crockett responds. Earlier in the interview, Crockett argued there needs to be consistency between the federal and state governments on reparations because if there is not, everybody's gonna run to whichever state and be like, yo, I need mine. Listen to how she's talking. And so we don't want to see that. This is definitely something that needs to be thought through, she told Carter, the interviewer of the Black Lawyers podcast. She went on to slam people that aren't even willing to do the studies, aren't willing to invest to make sure we can roll this out the right way. My thing about that is, how much studying you're going to do, and there really is no studying to be done. We just lay out the facts, the information, and that's that. There's no studying to be done. So I don't know what she's talking about, this study thing, but of course, she's a Democratic Congresswoman, and we got to keep that in mind, right? Keep that in mind. Democratic Congresswoman. Keep that in mind. All right. Crockett recently cruised through a Democratic primary in her Dallas district, securing 91.5% of the vote. All right, according to a news source. she is set to face Libertarian candidate Ken Ashby in the race to retain her seat in November. All right. That is also something to keep in mind. All of a sudden, she's coming out, right? She is coming out and saying all these things, wanting to bring up the reparations and what she thought she heard. So even that in itself tells you a lot. She's going off of something she heard from somebody and didn't even bother after she heard it to look into it further, to get some more details, to research, go to some places and listen to other people talk, go to Twitter, go to YouTube, research on YouTube, type those reparations in and see what channels pop up and talking about it, what news channels come up and talk about it. She didn't do none of that. You know, she go off what somebody said and then decided to blurt this out. All right? Decided to blurt it all out. And now it's being shown that she's running against a Libertarian. So she thought in her mind that if she brought up reparations, right, that would be something that'll grab the attention. And it says 91.5% of people actually voted for her. So this also seems like a grab for votes. If you say reparations and you say this and you say that, that'll get everybody's attention and I can win again. All right. So you guys let me know what you think about that. Put your thought in the comments, man. I appreciate y'all. And as always, we will be back with some more news. All right. This is What's the 411 News, and we're out. Peace. Welcome back to What's the 411 News, where we bring you news observation, interpretation, and news commentary from an FBA and BGR perspective. Let's get it.